Hey guys, this is Anna from Anna Travels, where I do travel vlogs, life vlogs, and occasionally fun little tags like this. So before I just go into the tag, I just wanted to say, you might have noticed I didn't upload a kitchen travels last week. I just felt like I just wasn't really in love with the series as much as I thought in my head. I may revisit the series later, but for right now, I think I just put a stop on it. Plus, I'm trying to be good on my diet, and so it's been hard to eat those foods when I'm trying to be good. I really do need to lose some weight. But anyways, this is just a fun little tag. It's been on YouTube all over the place for years, so this is not a new tag. I just wanted to do something fun while I had some time. And I'm actually going through some of my old footage and trying to see if there's some material that I can just put together some vlogs. We are going to go on a trip in September, and I'm so excited, but I'm not gonna announce it yet. Maybe I'll do a trip announcement. If you want to know, let me know and I'll do a trip announcement. But let's get into the questions. There are 15 questions in this little tag, and all about travel. And before I get, I know I just said that, but before I get into the meat and potatoes of the tag, I just want to say I love the word wanderlust. It's one of my favorite words of all times. I don't know, I actually wanted to have this channel name something Wanderlust, but I don't know, nothing really panned out, and I just went with Anna Travels. Anyways, so question number 1. Where was your first plane to? I was 3 months old, and the Air Force waited till my mom had me before they transferred my father back to the United States. So I was born in Seoul, Korea on Busan Army base, or I forgot. I was born on the Army base in Seoul, Korea, and they just waited 3 months, make sure my mom was healthy. Then they shipped us all the way back to Oxon Hill, Maryland, I think it was. So that was my first plane trip to Seoul, back to the US. Where have you traveled to that you would love to visit again? In the United States, it would be Nashville, Tennessee. We went for a Game of Thrones convention about 3 years ago, I believe it was, and I really, really loved it, and we really only saw just a glimpse of Nashville. Internationally, I would really love to go back to Norway without the pandemic and the borders closing over our heads. I really felt like we didn't really get to enjoy Norway as much as we could because of the circumstances. But check out my Norway series. You'll get to see some of the beauty of Norway and a little bit of our traveling. You're leaving tomorrow. Money is no object. Where do you go? I saw a picture of the Cecily's a long time ago. I think it was in high school. And I don't know, something about the picture just made me just go, one day I'm going. Prefer method of travel, plane, car, or train? All three have pluses and negatives, but I have to say I prefer the train. The plane. I just love, especially being in the window seat and seeing takeoff and landing, and I love the feeling of taking off and landing. I don't know, I'm one of those weirdos. And I just love it. So plane, definitely. Favorite travel website? I'm not sure if that means to book your own travel or watching other or getting knowledge. Personally, I am a part-time travel agent, so I like to use our resources. So my website, my travel website, if you're looking for an agent. But for looking up information or looking up reviews, I actually prefer YouTube. I like to see YouTube videos, and sometimes it's hard. I'm doing preliminary search on certain things of our Japan trip, and sometimes you put you type some of these words in and it doesn't give you what you really were searching for, and that's why Google is also just a good search engine too. Where would you travel to just to eat food? Japan. I love Japanese food. I lived in Japan when I was young. When my dad was stationed in Yokota Air Force Base, Japan, and I just love Japanese food. So, and I'm hoping international travel will be fine next year, so we get to enjoy Japan and also Korea. We're gonna do both. Is there a place that you would never travel to again? I really can't think of anything. No, not really. Can you recite your passport number by heart? No, because I just got my passport this year, and I couldn't recite you my other one because that was the passport I had for a kid. I haven't done international travel since I was a kid. Well, before this year, I hadn't done international travel since I was like 8. Do you prefer window, the center, or the aisle? I definitely prefer window. Like I mentioned before, I love takeoff and landing and seeing the cityscape when you land and take off. So window seat all the way. Pass time on an airplane. I try and sleep. Especially for the shorter trips, my goal is just to like sleep and then wake up like an hour before landing or like 30 minutes before, and that way I just sleep it away. But if I can't sleep it away, I prefer either watching movies or just surfing the internet if, there's Wi-Fi. Your most treasured passport stamp? Honestly, none. I've only been to 4 countries. I live in the United States. I was born in Korea, and I have been back. Not since I was a little kid, but I did do little smaller trips when I was, especially since my dad was stationed in Japan. It was a lot easier to visit my mom's side of the family, when my dad was stationed in Japan. Norway? Oh, is that 3? Well, and Japan, Japan. That's the 4th one. So I've only been to 4 countries. I guess Norway is the most prized because it's like my first international trip as an adult. Top 3 travel items. My camera, of course, that's laying over there. Then the Sky too. I just got my Olympus OMD EM5 Mark III, and I'll link the video. I absolutely, okay. I love it. It is such a good camera. I'm still learning a little bit of it and still messing with it, but definitely the camera. I am a new believer in packing cubes. I scoffed at the idea for a while because I was like, I don't need packing cubes. I can pack everything in a luggage, no problem. And then I was just like, okay, I'll give it a whirl. They're not that expensive. I'm a new believer in packing cubes. Definitely, especially for our Norway trip when we had so much stuff to bring. They were a lifesaver, especially for those winter jackets that just are so poofy. You just I just stuck them in there and zipped them down, and it just compressed those winter jackets and winter gear so much. It's helped so much. Oh, and then third, wipes. So of course, and this was before Corona. I would take the more, Lysol type of wipes and wipe stuff down. And then I also have, I buy any brand, but I tried this one brand on Amazon called Ass Wipes, and it has a donkey on it, and that's kind of why I bought it, because I was like, I love donkeys. And it's funny. It's called Ass Wipes, and you can wipe your butt, but you can also wipe your hands with them, and it smells good, has a good scent, and it doesn't leave your hands overly sticky. Because some wipes, they have that I don't know, that weirdness to them. And so I use those especially if touch cleaning, if we're traveling a long travel day, you can't really take a shower, I just wipe a little bit and freshen up just a little bit. Those things are perfect. So those are my 3 top travel items. Hostel or hotel? Hotel. I'm kind of a private person. I don't really like sharing space with strangers, and also my husband is the same way. So the concept of a hostel, I see the value in a hostel, but for us, it's hotels. I love hotels. That's one of my favorite things about traveling, is seeing different hotels, especially nice ones, not the bad ones, just the nice hotels. Are you a repeat visitor, or do you explore new places? Yes. We do tend to go to Disney and Universal every so often. Seems like a lot in the past few years, because I am a travel agent, and those are like my two biggest, bookings. So it is, for me, it's like professionally and also personally, two of my favorite places to visit. And, but I, the past 2 years, like 2 years ago, I really told my husband, like, I really do want to travel internationally. Just because, there's so much of the world that we haven't seen. And especially when I became a travel agent 2 years ago, I was like, I want to go new places, experience new things, like the other agents talk about all these places. And so I'm like, I want to go explore the world. So yes to both. Disney and Universal will always be like our top choices, but I definitely want to see more of the world. Where would you recommend a friend to visit and why? I feel like on one hand, DC is, a tourist city because it is the nation's United States capital. But I also feel like it gets kind of trashed on as a tourist location as well. They're like, DC doesn't have good food options, DC's so trafficky, and the politicians are there, and clear the swamp and all that stuff. But I love DC. Like, I've lived in Northern Virginia for 26 years, and I don't go into DC every day. But I do go into DC at least a couple times a year. And I never lose that joy that I get when, you driving on 95, and then you see the Air Force Memorial on your left, and then you just drive, and then it just opens up, and then you see DC. You see the Washington Monument, you see all the other stuff, and the cityscape, and that view just makes me feel like this is home. This is the United States. This is a city that I love. And no matter how much people might hate it, I love it. I love DC. And there's so much you can do, not just the museums, but there's good food and I feel like DC people definitely are a unique breed and definitely an awesome breed. So that's it. Those are the 15 tags. I hope it wasn't terribly boring. But I'm going to tag, I'll tag 3 people. I'll tag Fun Fiero and check out their channel. And then also I'm going to tag a new channel that I just kind of met on Twitter, PB&J Travel. And then I'll tag Valerie. I'll tag you, Singer Family Adventure. Just because, you did those 50 videos, you might need some ideas for future videos. So yes, guys, thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe to join me for future videos. I actually scheduled out my August schedule and into September, and so, I got some editing to do, but we are going to have some fun despite, the COVID. Bye, guys.